Hey everybody, what's going on? My name's Philip, and I will be your mediocre wheelman in today's video. In today's video, I wanted to bring something a little different to the table. This is a nearly 4100 strength of field race that I did yesterday, and it ended up being pretty interesting to say the least. But I thought I'd bring it here because I know some people are interested in seeing full race type content on the channel, and I thought this would be a really fun one to bring kind of as a first showing. So I had actually a lot of fun making this. The race was more fun than I expected it to be. So we'll go ahead and jump on into it here. So here we go. I'm leaving up the kind of HUD. That way you can see what's going on with the controls and what lap we're on, because iRacing doesn't offer a lot of that fun stuff when you're watching replay. And I race in VR, so it's not really fun to look at on a YouTube video. I usually make myself dizzy watching my own VR like recordings back, so anyway, on the initial restart, started off in second gear and didn't quite get a good run, but I can see that they're already wrecking ahead of me. So just taking it nice and easy. I know this is going to be a race where people are beating and banging doors, and so I haven't done a lot of practice. Don't really know how the car's going to change yet. It's definitely a lot looser than what I'm used to with these cars. I got used to every track being pretty much flat foot with these cup cars, but this one's not. It's really fun this week. So the 9 car goes for a good move on the bottom side, and somebody's off into the grass ahead of us, so just gonna try to watch out for them, give the 9 some room. They do a pretty good job of keeping it under the apron. So thought process now is get the car under me and just learn what it's gonna do, learn how the air is gonna affect everything, and try to keep up with the pack. That's really all I want to do. So now we've got, I think it's 28 on the outside. He's going to be making moves. So I'm learning right now I'm seriously underdriving the corner entry. I'm trying to save tires maybe a little too much, but I'm curious on if it's going to pay off because I know this track surface is incredibly abrasive. So I figure the more I can save now, maybe the better I'll do in the long run. Hopefully there won't be many cautions. And if there's not, then I'll be in a really good place. But at the beginning of the race, it just kind of looks and feels like everybody's just driving away from me, which they are, as the 30 is kind of peeking his nose under there. Well, not quite. He'll get the move done, though. Should be next to us now in this corner. Just on the inside as I get loose, coming up towards that that wall. That's one thing. You get too high up the track and kind of in the marbling, where the rubber bits and dirt and all are sitting, and the car gets pretty loose actually. And the way the air packs down on the car kind of makes it a lot more difficult too. So tucking in here behind the 30, hoping maybe I'll stop bleeding off positions and distance eventually. So moving forward here to lap 8. 30's gotten a little bit ahead of us here, but I'm kind of getting closer to this pack up front, which is really good. I've got room between me and them. Oh, and they start wrecking. Okay. Slowing down, waiting for a caution. Guys behind me not doing that. And it looks like there's not going to be a caution, which is awesome. So now we're even further back. And way further down in the order now. See what I am when I cross the line here. 25th. Alright, and just catching up to the 18 as we enter the corner. Thinking I might get the move done around the outside, but it does not look like it. Looks like he's going to hang with me and I get loose again in that top side. And here's where I had kind of my first interesting choice of the race. So I could decide to race the 18 really hard, or I could let him go. And I know that these cars side by side are considerably slower than they are in a line, so I opt to kind of back out of it, and I'm just going to sit behind the 18 here and see if we can't kind of work together to at least stop losing ground, even if we don't really catch up. So, and I'm sticking a little bit lower than he is in the corner, keeping the air on the nose of my car so I don't use up my front tires quite as bad. Looking ahead to lap 13 and 14, plan is kind of working. So the 18 and I have managed to run down the car in front of us, and we're a little closer to this pack ahead. But 18 goes for a move here, and now you can see the difference of how much slower the cars are when they're side by side versus when you're by yourself. So that gives me a good opportunity to pull up onto the back of both of these guys. But my problem now is I have less air on the front of the car, so it's maybe going to get aerotight coming out of the corner and start pushing up towards the wall. So got a choice to make here. Do I want to go 3 wide or not? And I decide not to and push the 18. I know we're both faster than the 29 because we ran him down, so might as well just keep doing what we're doing. And I go low, maybe thinking I can get the move done on the 18, and I just get too tight and have to back out. So kind of hold this inside line here, hoping that the 29 won't try to dive low on us, and he doesn't. So we hold the position. Now we got to catch back up to the 18 and keep working our way towards this pack ahead. And as it looks right now, we're doing a pretty good job of catching them back down, so we'll keep that up. So moving ahead a little bit here, just about 3 laps. We've now caught the pack, so it's still working. Plan is still going well. 18 goes for a move on the 6, and I thought, so the 6 car, the darker car ahead of us with the green spoiler, I thought he got a lot more damage and that he was dropping back to the field. But I don't think that was the case. He does get really tight right here, checks them all up as they try to wreck ahead again. And we dive low, gain 2 positions here. I'm thinking maybe we can get past the 6. But not quite, and we get kind of arrow tight when he moves down in front of us like that. So that's one thing that really happens with these cars quite often, is that if you have clean air, your car is turning, and then if somebody cuts down in front of you, you get that air taken off the nose and the car just doesn't turn as well. But I really thought I was a lot faster than the 6 and that I could just get the move done, but I can't quite do it on the low side. He carries the momentum off the top, and he's got a little bit of draft from the white car ahead of him, so it's pretty hard to get by him right now as a lone car by myself, and I don't have anybody pushing me or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do here, and ultimately I decide to not race him too hard. Don't throw it down into the corner real aggressive, because I don't want to burn up my tires or heat my stuff up. And I think right here I've got a good move done. My spotters called me clear, and I'm good. As I start coming up the track, I hear outside, and I'm not quite clear, and I kind of do a self-clear on the 6. And thankfully, he lifts out of the throttle and lets us live to race another lap, so I do appreciate that out of the 6. Only now I hear him coming back on the inside, and I know that he's closing in, so I don't know if he's going to get a move done. I know the 18 is close behind us, so it looks like they're going to be side by side into the corner. Maybe I can just start ever so slightly driving away. Okay, coming to lap 24, so we're nearing the halfway point of this race that was scheduled to be 50 laps. And we're getting right behind this white car, going to go for a move, and he gets loose and then tight and tags the wall. And I've got to back out of the throttle, but I don't have anybody below me, but I don't know where the 18 is, and I just try to squeeze it down under here because I don't want to have to check up for him. Luckily, we were clear of the 18, and the red car behind us, and we make it through. Once again with the 18 in tow, which is fine. I've actually, throughout this race, I got to where I like the 18 quite a bit. We were doing a pretty good job cutting our way through traffic, so I was getting pretty comfortable with him. He goes for a move on the low side into turn 1, which is to be expected because I had less momentum. It's a good, smart move. But he can't quite pull it off. Gets a little bit tight, and I'm able to keep this position for now. So this is where I really wish that on the replays you could see the like relative box. You can see how far ahead everybody is, but we've worked our way up right now from back of the grid and then getting slowed down by a couple near accidents ahead of us, and all the way up to 17 or 18th right now. We're doing pretty good, and we're running this group of 3 down. They're racing each other pretty hard. Once again, we've got the 18 behind us and getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner, just a bit too much throttle. But we're running them down. Everything's going pretty well. It looks like the blue car is a little bit slower than the other car, but he's doing a good job of holding his line. So I've got another decision to make here. Do I help one of them or do I put them 3 wide? I don't know. Right now I'm trying to go through the middle. If I take the middle line where nobody is, I've got air on the car, I can turn. 19 gets tight, and I think something's going to happen, and then I don't know what I'm doing with the steering wheel here. I'm trying to save the car. It feels like it's moving around by itself. got kind of nervous because I didn't have a lot of space to save it right there, and I just did not want to catch anybody and right rear him into the wall or wreck anybody else. But we did good. Well, I don't know if I'd call it good, but we lived. We made it to lap 28 without a problem. So everything's going okay here. So now I'm going to try to catch up to this red car and the red and white car. Look like they're battling pretty good. Everything looks okay. The 9 I think we were around earlier. I know he's pretty fast. I don't know about this red and white car. So I'm going to try to maybe make quick work of him. Close the gap a little bit by using the lower part of the track, travel less distance. I can close that gap down just a little bit more. And now I'm thinking maybe into turn 1 or exit of turn 2, I can get a move done, but he decides to go for a move. And he starts getting real tight, and I think the air from him pushes the 9 just a little bit, or the 9 just gets loose and they start to wreck, and I just barely missed that wreck. I have to dive down onto the apron to get clear, and they're wrecking behind us. So this one was so close that I want to kind of look at this back. So it looks like as the 24 goes for a move, maybe the 9 is looking in the mirror, gets a little bit loose, and then surprises tight and kind of tags the wall, and that pushes him down, and we're just so close to tagging into him right there. And then as he's trying to save the car, he loses it, and some chaos happens behind him. Alright, coming to start our lap 34 restart. We get an okay start, not the best, but also not terrible. And I learned, so I had pit just before this, and I learned that I had saved tires a bit too much. So I was going to drive a little harder on this run and see if we can't keep up a little better. So trying to get a good breakaway. The group behind us is 3 wide. The 4 makes it through, and he's getting the draft on us. And it looks like he's going to shoot low. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit, so I move up, give him the room because I know he's being pretty aggressive. But hey, if he wants to get up there and clear traffic for us and use his tires passing everybody, then be my guest, and I'll just pass him when his tires are gone. That's the plan anyway. So 19 moves down on the inside, but not really going to cause either one of us an issue there. And the 4 gets really loose off the corner, shoots down to the apron, manages to save it, pulls back up behind us. So now I'm taking note of that. I know that the 4 is being extremely aggressive on his tires. I'm kind of hoping now, though, that maybe his tires are a bit too hot and he won't be able to keep that kind of pace up, or maybe he'll cool his jets just a little bit. And I'm looking up here at the 15 and the 22. They're racing each other, but we're kind of keeping with them, closing in. I'm being a bit more aggressive in my corner entry. Somebody else gets wild off the corner. Another good save. Okay, so now blue and white car, or both blue and white cars really in front of us, are kind of stacking up the 15 and I. The 4 pulls in behind us, gives us a bit of a push, and we're going to cut down in traffic and just shoot this gap as it closes up. And that was a good move. Job done. Kind of. I'll almost get too tight and get on the 16's door. We don't make contact, but it was pretty close. And they start getting shifty in front of us again. Still looking okay. Getting maybe a slight push from the 23. Still next to the 16. So I can't quite get the run out of the corner that I want. But the 4 gets a good push from the 6 and shoots the gap 3 wide. Splits the middle of us and pretty much gets the job done there with a good move by him. But once again, be my guest, man. If you want to pass all the traffic and burn your stuff up, I will follow you through. So we're doing pretty good. He's making more moves on the low side. Just trying to stay behind him to get the draft, but not really in the corner. Once again, I want to keep some air on the nose of my car so that I don't totally abuse my front tires turning. And looks like he shoots low, and the blue car maybe sees him coming and moves down and takes the air off of him. Gets him real aero tight, and he shoots up into the track. I'm thinking, okay, that's good. We'll go low. He makes a real late block there, and we bump him. And then a little bit of predictive netcode on me in the 19, and a wreck ensues, and we get pretty lucky not to get tagged by anybody else. So this is another one. Let's go back and take a look at this here. Just let's critique my driving. So you see him get tight, he pushes up, does a good job of keeping it out of everybody, and I shoot low, and he sees me coming and blocks. And in retrospect, I could have done a bit better job of holding my line, but I was really caught off guard, and I clipped the 19 and kind of caused this accident. Unfortunately, just the whole thing kind of kicked off. Okay, here we go. Just a few laps to go. Starting to restart on heading to lap 44. I know the aggressiveness is going to start picking up here. I'm getting a little bit nervous. On that last pit stop that we just made, fixed all my damage because I know that the aero really affects these cars. So we're back in the pack a little bit, but I'm thinking that we'll be okay. But we're with our buddy again in the 18, so I'm kind of happy about that. Maybe we can both get good finishes. Big pack of cars ahead of us. You see 3 wide and like row 2 up there. They get kind of shifty off the corner. Everything's looking okay. And then there's 2 wrecks. One guy's in the grass, and then these guys clip each other on the wall, and I just barely make it through that one. Surely there's going to be a caution, but there is not. So put our foot back in it and keep on going as another wreck breaks out ahead. And I think everybody's going to stay down to the apron, but I'm wrong. And then this car just shoots back up in front of us, and we narrowly miss him. I was in the mirror looking for the 24 because I knew he was coming up quick, and I didn't want to shoot all the way down. Okay, got a cool angle on this one. You won't believe how close this is. We just shoot the gap. I can't believe it. I think I barely made contact with the second car I passed, but... Okay, here's the second accident. I see everybody's down at the apron, and then this car's bouncing up. I'm looking in the mirror, trying to slow down, see the 24 coming up, and have to turn down. And now I've got a nice Tony Stewart edition race suit. And I feel like you got to see it one more time in all of its absolute glory. To see everybody's banging down at each other, 27 down into the Shadow Realm, and makes his way back out of the Shadow Realm. So congratulations for not getting stuck there. And we just swing it on by, making a tiny bit of contact. Right, okay. Here we are for a green-white checkered. I stayed out, didn't pit. I got a little bit of damage, but the RPMs are still at 2,000, so I'm thinking we're going to be okay. So let's see what happens. So taking the jump, I get a good launch and actually kind of stay with this pack ahead, and I've got a decent gap behind me, so I don't really have to worry about too much right yet. And I'm just going to watch them. One guy kind of gets tight or loose, I don't know which. And I'm just trying to stay clear. I see them all racing each other 3 wide up here. A little bit of contact, and it's making me catch up, which I'm a little bit nervous about. I don't know if I want to be this close, but we don't have much time, so you kind of got to do it. Looking on the outside of the 30, get a little bit loose, but just keep the spot, or get the move almost done. We're side by side. Now, going into this corner, I kind of expected to be clear, but I'm not really, but I do get my nose down in the clean air. Now, I know they're going to pack up ahead of me here, so I'm not really side draft the 30, but I do open up a bit of a gap, and I'm able to shoot down in here 3 wide and make a hell of a move. I mean, I'll brag about that one. 22 gets loose, gets tagged by somebody, and we just get clear of the mayhem and manage to actually finish in 6th place somehow. As we crossed the line, everybody was congratulating each other on such a clean and uneventful race. Definitely no harsh words or mad feelings being thrown around. I know this one's a little bit longer. I tried to cut it down, but just there was so much that happened. And we'll end the video here looking at the results page. So you can see we're top split, almost 4,100 strength of field. And because of our incidents, we lose some, but gain a good bit of iRating, which is good. So Colin won that race and a good win. Led 41 laps, and here we are in 6th place after starting 23rd, being car number 10. So I'd say overall it was a pretty good day for me. And it was mayhem and a mess, but we made it. And I'm kind of glad that that race is over, but we'll probably do more. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did in the comments. I'd like to start doing more of these because I had a good time with it, making the video and watching it back and all that good stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed it too. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.